you have reached Level Up with Janet E on YouTube. Excited! So this is the first time that we're doing a Level Up on YouTube. So I am so excited that you have decided to join us today. And as my intro said, I am a dancer and my daughter is a dancer as well, as you can see. And we've been in dance for my daughter over half her life. So she's 14 now, for over 7 years. And then I've been in dance for close to 10 years. But I do today want to bring you into my life and continue on our journey of leveling up. But I also want to make sure I infuse dance, which is one of my passions, as well as my daughter's passions, and everything that we do here with Level Up as well. So you might see different dances, you might see some different techniques for dance that you may want to incorporate into your current exercise regimen, because dance is good for the body as well in terms of keeping it in shape. And also just want to make sure that we remain pliable and stretchable. So that is what I'm going to talk about today, is stretching. Stretching not only for dancing, but stretching your mind. Now, dance, just like any other strenuous exercise, you need to stretch. Absolutely. Stretch, stretch, stretch before you dance or before you do any strenuous exercise, because as athletes, dancers are athletes, by the way, as athletes, we need to make sure that all of our muscles are in place and in line and pliable as we're moving around or moving about. So if we are doing something, maybe kicking up a leg or moving an arm, we want to make sure those muscles have enough comfortability in terms of the stretch that we were able to just get all the kinks out. Usually is what I feel, that I'm getting all the kinks out and that I'm making sure that nothing is going to either sprain, strain, or cause any type of issues as I'm dancing, because the number one thing is you don't want to have an injury as you're dancing. You don't want to kick a leg and then next thing you know a hip socket goes out of place, or the knee starts creaking or something happens, because that will happen, you know, sometimes if we don't stretch properly. So usually what I will do, and most dancers will do this as well, is we'll stretch before dance class. And especially if we have multiple dance classes, we'll stretch during dance class as well, when we have breaks, obviously, and then between dance classes, so that we stay pliable, that our muscles stay loose in order to be able to move about freely. So I hope this is helpful to you, because I'm going to give you a couple of different stretch moves, once again, that you can use. And once again, it's not just for dance, but I use it for dance to help myself and become a little bit more agile. Because getting in my 40s, you want to make sure that you stay agile. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is focus on the arms. So I usually just do the arms up and over. And we usually hold that for a count of 8 to 12. Then lift both arms up and over again on the other side. So as we're doing this stretch, I want to talk about also stretching the mind. So let's do it again. So when we talk about stretching the mind, what do we talk about, or what am I talking about? Most of the times when we're stretching the mind, we're going beyond our comfort level, our comfort zone. And that's similar to the body. So usually when we're stretching the body, you know, at first, when you do the stretch, you might feel a little bit of uncomfortability, and that's fine as long as it's not hurting. You know, you're gonna feel that uncomfortability. So I'm just gonna bring it across the body. So the uncomfortability means that you are pulling something. Something is moving out of its normal range. And that's good in terms of stretching, because ultimately what you want the stretch to do over time is make you more pliable, especially when you're trying to build, let's say, a higher kick, or go into a split. Maybe you haven't mastered a split yet, but you want to go into the split and actually do a split one day. You're going to have to teach your muscles or train your muscles to stretch beyond their normal level. And so you do that over time. It's not going to be one day unless you want to really hurt yourself. It's not going to be one day, it's going to be over time. So over time, you'll be able to build that muscle or stretch that muscle or that ligament to be able to bring your body lower and lower down, and ultimately to do either a front split or even harder, a side split. A lot of people, it's hard to do a side split, you know, but a front split at least. All right, so with that, I usually bring the feet together, and then we'll just kind of lean into it. Usually this is with a flat back. And you just bring it down and in, and this is for the back, as well as for the inside of the hips. And a lot of times with dancers, it is about stretching those hips because you are kicking, you are moving around really quickly, and a lot of it involves the hips, as well as the knees. So you will see a lot of dancers, and this is what any athletes have problems with their knees or their hips, because we do use that an awful lot, or the shoulders, anything that's a large range of movement. So as we're talking about stretching our mind and moving beyond our uncomfortably level, and then continuing to stretch and stretch and stretch, we're also talking about moving beyond the normal range. So as we stretch and move beyond the normal range in terms of mental agility, now we're getting into new experiences and new things that we may not have done before. It may be something new to us, but because we have learned to stretch and have learned to feel comfortable with stretching, we are able to go into those new moves or new experiences with less trepidation. So that really does help when you do go into those moves or go into something that maybe you're like, okay, I couldn't do it all before, but I know that I've been able to push through something else, and I've been able to survive, and not only survive, but thrive. And it's the same thing with mental agility. Is your body and your mind is understanding that, okay, this didn't cause me detriment. I can push through. So I'm just kind of flexing the feet and then curving them. So point to the toes. So this is working the whole leg and probably mostly the calves. So, and you bring it in. So you want to flex and then lean over. And I may not be doing this 100% correct. I'm just trying to lean Dave into it. So, but this is a good stretch for the whole leg here. So I'm gonna go and do some other stretches that I love doing in terms of, so those were the arm stretches, as well as some of the full body stretches. But I do like to also go into just kind of, I don't know if it's called isometric or it's just like the holding stretches, I call it, or yoga type stretches, because that's going to allow me to build my core, build my stamina in terms of being able to hold poses, because a lot of times you will hold a pose and dance too. And then it also helps in just being able to stretch and body parts that you normally wouldn't stretch or be able to stretch. So let me breathe. And this is the same thing with mental agility or building your mental stamina. You want to breathe between different exercises or different things so that you're ready for the next thing. Your body's ready. It has enough oxygen. And for mental, you're building enough patience. You're building enough agility in your mind and to be able to push through. So I'm just going to take a little breather, and then I'll move on to the next stretch. So I'm going to ask you a question and have homework for you on for the next YouTube video. So what are some of the things that you may feel uncomfortable about that you have thought about doing, but it's something that you feel like it's a stretch, but you're not ready to stretch out yet? And just be honest, because we all have things that are, we're holding back from and saying, okay, you know what, I know I can do it. I know I can stretch into it, but I just feel uncomfortable at this point. Just let me know. You can always type it, and then from there, we'll work on it. We'll get through that, get through it one at a time. But once again, that stretching action, the first part of it is knowing what to stretch and knowing that you want to stretch it. That is very important. Okay, so I'm gonna go into, and I love the stretch here. So this is straight leg in the back, and bent leg is like 90 degrees in the front. And you can either hold it here, or you can hold it side, or you can hold it up, whatever feels comfortable for you. So I usually do this about 10 to 15 seconds, and the leg should be parallel in the back. And then you drop the knee. And from here, I usually push forward a little bit in order to stretch, once again, this part of the leg, the thighs and the hips. So once again, you're leaning forward, pushing forward. So this leg is almost completely as flat as it can be on the ground. And this 90 degrees is now pushing a little bit forward. So bring it back up and push it back down again. You're doing so good, see that? So, that mental stretch that you will do, or start thinking about, you know, we're gonna start focusing on that during the next couple of videos, because we really want to, as we're stretching our bodies, to continue to level up and stretch our minds, because that's most important. Okay, so I usually do about 5 of those, but for today I'll do 3. And then the pigeon pose is laying down. Sorry about that. As you're laying down now, the leg is flat in front of you, and you're either leaning down into it, or you can lean up into it. So this should be 90 degrees once again, and the leg is straight behind you. So I can show you from the side if you want to see. So this is 90 degrees, and then this leg is straight back. So this is an excellent pose. It's not comfortable at first, but it is excellent. And the hardest thing is to be able to put this at 90 degrees. So you may start here, and that's fine. And then as you get more comfortable, just push this out to the 90-degree level. And this is excellent for helping with splits as well. Okay, so let's bring this in. And I usually have one more stretch that I do. Is this. So you kind of sit on your back leg, and your front leg is down, is out. So this is for the other half of the split. And I usually hold this for about 20 to 30 seconds. But for time's sake, I will hold that for only 10. But once again, that is an excellent exercise. So then you do the other side, exercises that I just did before. And once again, you'll be, ta-da, all done with stretching for dance.